Christopher Bell wins the AllStar Race thanks to Michael Waltrip literally dropping a yellow on the field. We'll get to that. Plus, is North Wilkesboro ready for a Cup Series points race? Welcome back to the Breaking Bob channel. Hope y'all are doing well on this Sunday night, Monday morning, whenever you're watching this, as it's Cup Series recap time. The All-Star Race on Sunday night at Old North Wilkesboro. They've revived it, of course, the second year, as Dale Jr. was taking a weed eater to it years ago, but now we're back racing, and the atmosphere just it did come through on the TV. You could feel it from the track. It looked like it was one of those where you felt like you had FOMO watching it, but wasn't one of those people in the crowd getting antagonized by Michael Waltrip. We'll get to that. But if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We're always talking NASCAR and motorsports on a daily basis here as the month of May is ramping up. We've got the Memorial Day weekend coming up here. A lot to talk about, but we're here to talk the Cup Series right now, man. Christopher Bell just took the checkered flag, which really it was a good short track battle tonight, all things considered for the next-gen era standards. Christopher Bell was not probably the fastest car up until the last green flag run. It was Joey Logano, but the fans got what they wanted. They didn't want to see 22 back in victory lane 2 years in a row at North Wilkesboro. Christopher Bell really has said he wants to be the guy who brings clean racing back to the NASCAR garage. And tonight, he really showed his racecraft with 4 fresh tires on the last 20-something green flag laps. Was able to hold off Joey Logano or chase down Joey Logano, who stayed out after the promoter's caution, which we will get into. But Logano actually stayed out along with Penske teammate Austin Cindric. And, Christopher Bell was able to slowly run him down. He was one of the only cars that could pass on the bottom besides Logano. And couple that with fresh tires against old tires, it was Christopher Bell who was able to slowly dig away at the bottom of Logano and then able to get around him finally. And with Christopher Bell's win tonight, that's Toyota's first All-Star race since 2017. And that's back when they were at the Charlotte Oval back in the All-Star era days. And this was also a history-making night. It was the most lead changes in an All-Star race. 18, a NASCAR record for an All-Star race. It just felt like, again, like I said, for next-gen standards, keep that in mind. This was really good short track racing overall. And for Christopher Bell, this was his first win since winning 3 in a row back at Atlanta, Coda, and Vegas, I believe. Hold me to that. I believe that's what it was. But for them to get back into victory lane for Joe Gibbs, it's big for them. It seems like Brad Keselowski was talking about tonight how a win can just change your season. Joe Logano was a perfect example last year, getting that win at North Wilkesboro to spring his championship campaign later in the season, as controversial as it was. You can even look at the All-Star since 2020. I think they said it was 3 of the last 5 winners have gone on to win the Cup Series championship. So maybe just a fluke stat, but it's 3 out of the last 5. Could Christopher Bell make it 4 out of the last 6? It's going to definitely be one of those contenders coming into Phoenix down in November. It seemed like Bell and Logano were 2 of probably 3 or 4 cars that really had the raw speed to compete overall tonight. And after the race, Logano was clearly frustrated, saying, me and Marcus Smith need to have a conversation. I don't want to say how I really feel, but you can tell he was very frustrated because of that old promoter's caution that was announced back a couple weeks ago that NASCAR was going to be able to throw a caution to stack the field up with up to 30 to go, up to lap 200. I believe it was lap 200, 220 of the 250 laps. We knew it was coming. It was the way it happened. I'm not upset that the rule itself. It's the All-Star race. You're going to be gimmicky a little bit, have some fun with it. But it was the way they did it tonight, coupled with Fox in their last race on the broadcast season for 2025. And you have Michael Waltrip in a retro bomber jacket. They pan on the camera for him for 5-10 laps, sitting up in the caution stand, basically holding the yellow flag, antagonizing the crowd, saying, I'm going to throw it. I'm going to throw it. I'm going to throw it. It was a circus. And it was a disservice to NASCAR because the competition does not deserve to be treated like they're a circus out there. That's just Fox's broadcast. That's NASCAR having some fun with the promoter's caution. Maybe I don't like fun. That could be. Maybe I'm just an old man now. But yeah, I just it's Michael Waltrip having fun, and then he drops the flag just as the icing on the cake. It was so unserious, so unprofessional. And then they have the fireworks shooting off. This was this whole grand spectacle. NASCAR's big caution to stack the field up late to have one last green flag running. Don't get me wrong, they got what they wanted. They got them to stack up, and the restart there with Logano staying out, it caused strategy. It had Christopher Bell run him down. The caution did what it was supposed to do. It made the racing interesting. Like I said, I'm not as upset about that. I'm upset at how they executed it. Just was just one of those things where you look at it and you go, that's so NASCAR, it's so Fox. You think back to the AllStar Race, I think it was at Texas a couple years ago, where they had Sammy Hagar doing I Can't Drive 55 coming to the green flag. It's at the beginning of the race, he's in the stands. It was cheesy, it was corny, but to have Michael Waltrip up there in the middle of the race when you've got great battles going on the track, and instead we're half and half of Michael Waltrip, oh, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And then he drops the flag while you got fireworks shooting off like it's this grand celebration. That, again, NASCAR got what they wanted. They got a good finish out of it. And I don't want to see this become the norm, at least the way they do it. I don't know. I'm sure I'm not alone there, but let me know your thoughts down below about the promoter's caution and how they executed it tonight. I'm sure that'll be a very fun topic moving forward this week. And not only that, in the open race, we had some controversy as Ryan Preece, one of the fastest cars, was looking to put himself in the AllStar Race. And then on the final restart, coming to the choose cone, he actually ran over the triangle in the middle of the track, caught a restart violation, had to send him to the back. He brought a cone to the track afterwards just to say, I can't see it. It's not well lit. You can't see the choose triangle there. They have a little marking on the fence there. But in fairness, from the picture posted, it wasn't that well seen, to the point where NASCAR literally had to paint that choose section in the middle of the track between the open race and the main event in the AllStar Race. So for Ryan Preece, it is unfortunate, but the rules are the rules, and he was the only one in that open race that didn't see it. So as frustrating as it is, can't really be too mad about it, but the fact that they painted it after the fact, that I'm sure Ryan Preece is going, why couldn't we have just done that beforehand? The rubber that was laid down made it invisible for the 60 team, I guess. Just, never some drama, never without controversy on a NASCAR weekend one way or another. And it seems like the last few weeks, RFK has somehow been the recipient of the other end of it. But overall tonight, I thought the racing was strong. For a short track racing in the next gen era, outside the Bristol Spring Race in 2024, you could argue this was probably one of the best short track races we've had in the next gen era, to the point where even the broadcast kept asking drivers, are you ready for this to be a regular season points race? And now, granted, you have less of a full field out there tonight. It's only 250 laps, no stages, which, by the way, how refreshing was that we didn't have to worry about the stage breaks and re-racking the field. Gotta say, didn't miss the stage cautions at all. But let's not get off on a tangent that I could go another 5 minutes on. I'm talking about the actual racing at North Wilkesboro. Felt like we're ready for this to be a regular season race based on the atmosphere. The track itself has aged really well. The racing as well is really strong there. You've seen it at the Truck Series now the last 2 years. I think that we're ready for it. I think we're ready to make this a regular season points race. And now, then you look at the All-Star Race. What do you do there? Could you maybe move that to Bowman Gray? You got to keep it local for the race teams there, for the NASCAR industry. You got to keep it within a few hours of the Charlotte area. So maybe Bowman Gray, you see the Clash move international a couple of years, or something else like that. But I think it's time that we do make North Wilkesboro a points race. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are you in favor of that, or do you want to see it just kind of as this own weekend where the trucks race there for points, but the Cup Series, it's perfect as the heat racing style and the all-star format that it is. There is definitely an argument to be heard for that, I do think, as well. I wouldn't be remiss without mentioning this was the last Fox broadcast of the 2025 NASCAR season as far as the Cup Series goes. Now, Truck Series fans, sorry, we're stuck with them moving forward for the whole season, but we did it. Pat yourself on the back. Take a deep breath, NASCAR fans. You did it. You made it through the NASCAR 2025 Fox schedule. No more Boyer in the booth. No more real tight zoom-ins on cars while there's a lot of battling going around. Even tonight, and even this weekend with the truck race, you saw the ticker have the average lap time, basically 3/4 of the race instead of the intervals. Now, I definitely want to see lap fall off and tire fall off, but Fox even had Justin Allgaier in the 5-car tonight for a couple of laps. It just... And the way that they're celebrating the caution with Michael Waltrip and everything, just the cartoon graphics. I think we're all ready for Amazon next week. Just not going to pile on here. I think we all have our thoughts one way or the other, but we made it. This was the last Fox race of the season. That being said, we're only going to get so many more times with Mike Joy. Appreciate that voice, whether he has his fastball or not. He's still a legend in the game, and there's going to be a time where we don't have Mike Joy in our NASCAR ears. And at the end of the day, he is Fox NASCAR. He is one of the voices of the NASCAR modern era, the last 30 years, the last 35, 40 years. He just is a motorsports encyclopedia. So, as much as we're excited to get rid of Fox, not as excited to lose Mike Joy, all things considered, because just what he brings to the table, even in his age now, still just invaluable to the sport. But yeah, Fox's NASCAR coverage, not it. But you even see it on the IndyCar side. Now, this week they've had the Indy 500 practice and then qualifying on Saturday and Sunday. And Fox's coverage on FS1, FS2, no complaints for the most part. Really, really strong. The graphics package, Will Buxton has been very, very good. Better than I thought he'd be as a play-by-play voice. But then you get them on the main Fox broadcast for the last hour or two for qualifying on Saturday and Sunday, and there's commercials for the first lap or two of the 4-lap run for most of these guys. They've got Danica and Chris Myers talking about the Daytona 500 with Colton Herta instead of the Indy 500, mispronouncing it. It just goes to show Fox, no matter what they're covering, IndyCar, NASCAR, they just can't get it just 100% right for whatever reason. I don't know what's going on over there, but not saying that Breaking Bob Productions would do any better over at Fox, but somebody told Chris Myers he's at Indianapolis, not Daytona. That's at least the bare minimum there. But Robert Schwartzman on pole for Prema, the first time a rookie on pole at Indianapolis since 43 years ago. And this was a team that only ran 22 laps the first day on practice on Tuesday. What a story. Will he win the race next week? Probably not. He's never been on an oval before, but the story itself, he even said, we'll worry about that next week. It's an incredible story. It just goes to show the specialness that the Indy 500 brings out every single year. You never know what you're going to get. And then the controversy with Team Penske. I don't think they should have been allowed to qualify. I think they should have been sent to the last chance qualifying and definitely lose their spot in the top 12. But that's not going to pretend that IndyCar is my number one forte. Y'all know this is a NASCAR channel first and foremost, but we do dabble in other motorsports. And the Indy 500, of course, is one of, if not the biggest races in the American motorsports scene. Don't tell that to the NASCAR and France family, even though Kyle Larson's doing the double next week. But plenty of Memorial Day coverage to come on the channel. Stay tuned for more. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, like this hit that subscribe button, like this channel. There we go. It's late, I'm tired, but we'll get through this. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to Breaking Bob for more coverage as Memorial Day gets closer, and we'll see if there's anything that comes from this promoter's caution controversy with Joe Logano versus Marcus Smith. See you next time, folks. Thanks for watching.